The interdimensional magician who nearly tricked our favorite hero of Popstar into giving him total domination. Magolor from Kirby's Return to Dreamland. One day, during a quiet time in Dreamland, a mysterious ship crashed onto its surface. Upon investigation, Kirby, Meta Knight, King Dedede, and Bandana Waddle Dee met this cruiser's captain, Magolor, who was stranded since pieces of his ship called the Lore Star Cutter were scattered. So Kirby, being the wholesome, friend-shaped little ball of happiness that he is, offered to help him fix the ship, and with the others' help, did just so. As a thank you, Magolor took the Dreamland denizens on a trip to his own dimension, but upon arrival, were attacked by a four-headed dragon named Landia. After Kirby and friends defeated the dragon, that was when Magolor's true intentions came to light, and it was revealed that he wasn't very nice after all. What he really wanted was the Master Crown that Landia was guarding. Having failed to take on Landia himself, Magolor took advantage of Kirby's kindness to fix his ship and to take out Landia so that he may obtain the crown and gain its ultimate power. But with Landia's help, Kirby and co defeated the Wicked Wizard and managed to save the universe from his rule. Nowadays it does seem like Magolor has atoned for his misdeeds, but has he really? Who knows? But what I do know is that today, we'll be taking a look at the possibilities that Magolor could bring if he were to ever accompany Kirby to the world of Super Smash Bros. So, getting right into things, Magolor would be a pretty light and semi-floaty character. He'd have a total of 6 jumps, thanks to his combined privileges of being a Kirby character and having the natural ability to hover, but he'd have no additional movement options. Though, as an added detail, whenever he shields, he uses his magic barrier, the same one he used against Kirby during the end of the first phase of his boss fight. Magolor could have a 3-hit jab that can lead into a rapid jab. The first hit can be a simple straight punch, which leads into an uppercut with his other hand. Then with his hands positioned as they are right after the first 2 jabs, he ends the combo by creating a magic circle that blasts foes away. And for the rapid jab, he makes that same magic circle, only this time it spins, racking up damage and will then knock foes away when the rapid jab concludes. For his dash attack, he could use his Magolor Surge technique. This originated in the Kirby's Dream Collection minigame called Magolor Race, though he also uses it as a proper dash attack in Kirby Star Allies as well. He does a quick dash forward while his body spins horizontally. It's an attack that drags foes along, then knocks them away at the end of the move. His side tilt can have him open a star-shaped portal in front of himself and stab a long, thin needle straight forwards. It has some good range and can be angled, but it does require a bit of precision. This move is an attack used specifically when Magolor is in his second, more dark matter-like phase during his boss fight at the end of the Kirby's Return to Dreamland. The up tilt can also have him use needles, specifically his Deadly Needles attack, where he creates little puddles on the ground and causes spikes to shoot upwards, something we see him do during the first phase of his Return to Dreamland boss fight, as well as an attack that he has in Star Allies. For Smash, he'll only shoot 2 needles straight up on both sides of himself. They go pretty high, but as you can see, they can't hit right above Magolor, only on his sides and above that. So again, it does require some precision, but it is still good at giving foes to Magolor's left and right a hard time. His down tilt can have Magolor create a magic circle that spins on the ground in front of himself. It has some good horizontal disjoint, but it's not going to be hitting any foes who aren't actually touching the ground. It deals multi-hitting damage before launching foes into upward angles at the end of the move. Now for Magolor's smash attacks, these can have him use some of the same powerful super abilities that he copied from Kirby during the second phase of his boss fight, with the side smash having him use the very power that Kirby has for his current final smash, the Ultra Sword. He'll use this in a similar way to how he uses it in Star Allies. He conjures a massive sword from a magic circle, then swings it forwards from high to low. This is a very dangerous side smash. It has amazing disjoint, is of course very powerful, but on top of that, it doesn't just collide with the ground like you'd expect it would. It actually goes through the ground, to an extent. It disappears once it collides with a solid part of the stage, but if this is used on a platform, the Ultra Sword will actually be swung a bit below said platform, hitting foes below. But it won't hit directly below Magolor. It will phase out before it gets close to his immediate Y-axis. Now, despite the threat of this side smash, the downside, as you'd expect, is the end lag, having enough to leave Magolor vulnerable if the move doesn't land. Next, for Magolor's up smash, this could have him use his own version of the destructive Monster Flame, though it will not be working like how you see it used in Return to Dreamland. It'll actually look more like the startup animation we see Kirby do the first time he uses the attack right after obtaining it. Magolor will conjure a dragon-shaped flame from a magic circle, and it'll fly above him as a vortex. This is another powerful disjointed attack, one that can rack up a lot of multi-hitting damage till it launches the foe upwards, but just like the Ultra Sword, it does have some end lag. And for his down smash, this could have Magolor use the powerful Grand Hammer. He conjures one from a magic circle and smashes it into his current spot, causing shockwaves to spread out into both horizontal directions. The shockwaves of course deal some pain, but the real backbreaker of this smash attack is getting hit by the hammer itself. But that is slightly difficult to land, requiring foes to be nearly right on top of Magolor's position in order to hit them with it. But true to how the Grand Hammer functions in Return to Dreamland, charging it will cause the hammer to grow in size, though only a little bit for this moveset. This will also cause the shockwaves it emits to grow in size a bit and spread out a little farther than usual. These shockwaves, by the way, do count as projectiles, and they will stop at the edge of stage or platforms. Now getting into his aerials, the neutral air can have Magolor curl up into a ball, or more ball-like than usual, and spins while his body is surrounded by electricity. This references an attack he can use during his boss fight's second phase, which I think is a reference to the Flare Beam super ability, but I'm not 100% sure if that's the case or not. It's a quick to start move that can drag opponents around while dealing multi-hitting damage, launching them with the final hit, but it does have some of the worst range compared to the rest of the attacks in this moveset. His forward air can have Magolor spin his hands forwards like a pinwheel, another move that deals multi-hitting damage until launching. But on top of that, it will also generate a small wind box that will slightly push foes away who are right in front of him but aren't touching his hands. This makes slight reference to the wind that he can generate during the first phase of his EX boss fight. Magolor's back air can have him pull out a smaller version of the Ultra Sword that he holds in his hand and swings it behind himself from high to low, which is closer to how he uses the Ultra Sword during his second phase boss fight. His up air can have him spinning multiple times in an upright position. He starts with his hands held out to his side, then slowly lifts his hands above his head as he spins, allowing for a bit more range to be covered around Magolor's upper half. And as you'd expect, it deals multi-hitting damage before launching foes with the final hit. And for his down air, he conjures a horizontal line of dark orbs under his body that spin like a helicopter blade, another move that deals multi-hitting damage before launching with the final hit. Though this move won't have the best vertical reach, but it does make up for that with slightly decent horizontal disjoint. This attack was one that he would do during the first phase of his EX boss fight. Magolor could grab with both arms and pummel by headbutting his foes. Now for all of his throws, Magolor could open portals to call on the assistance of various enemies, referencing what he does during his boss fights where he does just that. The forward throw can have him summon a super hot head that sticks out of the portal and breathes fire into the foe, sending them forwards. The back throw could summon a super blade knight, which flies out of a portal conjured behind the foe and slices to send them backwards. The up throw can have a portal appear below the foe's feet and summon a spear doomer, which flies straight up while spinning, dragging the foe along with it and launching them at the peak of its flight. And the down throw can summon a super bonkers, which sticks out of a portal and smashes the foe into the ground with its big hefty hammer, burying them. For Magolor's neutral special, he could use one of his most common attacks during his boss fights, the Magic Sphere. This could work like how it does in Star Allies. Tapping the button will have him shoot a single orb projectile straight forwards. It flies a decent distance and only causes small flinching damage. Mashing the button will have him kind of rapid fire the orbs, with each one flying at different angles. You can also charge it up to increase its power and attributes. Charging it up for about a second will upgrade the Magic Sphere into the Revolution Orbs. This causes 3 orbs to be shot that fly together at a spiral. This will drag opponents along to rack up damage, and it does have a bit more range. Though you can also choose to make it at its most powerful by fully charging the attack, which takes about 3 seconds. This upgrades the move to the Revolution Flame. This would work similarly to the Revolution Orbs, except they're now fireballs. The spiral is spread out a bit, giving it a bit more vertical coverage, and it would fly a bit farther while also dealing a bit more damage and knockback. Now for Magolor's side special, he could use the powerful Magolor Beam. This is a simple attack that has Magolor fire a beam straight forwards. Tapping side special will make the beam pretty thin, weak, and not have the greatest range. Holding down the button though will have Magolor charge it up, and fire it as soon as the button is let go or automatically after reaching its full charge, which takes about 5 seconds. As you'd expect, the longer you charge it, the more power, width, and range the beam will gain. Getting hit by this beam will catch foes, racking up their damage and launching them away when concluding, and it does count as a projectile. Next, for Magolor's up special, this is going to be an interesting attack, especially for an up special, because while it can technically be used for recovery, that's not what most people would be using it for. It could be Magolor's Dimensional Portals. Using up special will have Magolor lay down a star-shaped magic spell that, by itself, does nothing, and will disappear if nothing else happens after 10 seconds. But using up special again while that star magic is present will have him create a second one and then connect the two, turning them into portals. These newly connected portals will last for 20 seconds at a time, and if any player touches one of the portals, Magolor included, then that player will automatically be warped to the other portal, after which both portals will immediately vanish. Magolor is also able to determine the direction his portal faces. Only tapping the command will have him create a portal in front of himself that faces away from him. But holding down the button and pointing the control stick can have him face that portal into the pointed direction. While entering a portal halts all momentum that there might have been when entering, there is a tiny bit of propulsion when exiting the other portal, being tossed into the direction that the portal was facing. People might think that all they have to do then is angle a portal down over the blast zone for some free kills, but it's not that easy. As I said, the propulsion is tiny, so most players could very easily recover unless the portal is too far away. Also, going through portals does not put you into freefall. In fact, if you enter a portal while in freefall, then the freefall will actually be cancelled when you exit the other portal, allowing you to move again. Not to mention, considering that Magolor will only have his jumps and air dodges to rely on for recovery outside of using the portals, trying to pull a trick like this might be more dangerous for him if his opponent knows what he's up to. With that said though, warping around and being warped around isn't the only thing that these portals can do. They also have the ability to warp projectiles. Shooting a projectile into a portal will cause it to appear out of the other portal, being fired into the direction that the portal was facing at the same speed that it was going when it entered. And warping projectiles will not make the portal vanish, only players warping through them will do that. Overall, this option can allow Magolor to pull all kinds of nasty mix-ups, but of course, you don't want to be too obvious when using them. Doing so could easily let your opponents take advantage of the portals to their own gain. Or if they could predict when Magolor will use one, only to greet him at the exiting portal with a swift side smash to his face. This requires the Magolor player to be crafty, utilizing the same deceptive nature that Magolor himself has to dance around your opponent without them dancing around you in return. And finally, for Magolor's down special, this could have him scare some doctors away as he throws some gem apple bombs. Gem apples are a form of currency that Magolor will accept in the Kirby Clash games, and in Star Allies, he turns them into bombs. It also shows him throwing 3 there, but for this moveset, it will only just be 1 at a time. These apple bombs act as gravity-affected detonation bombs. You press down special to throw one forwards, then while it's out, press down special again to have the bomb explode. You can throw an apple at foes to deal small flinching damage, but this won't make them explode. You need to detonate it. In fact, throwing them directly at experienced players might be risky as well, because the gem apple bombs do act as items once out that can be picked up and thrown by any player. The bomb also cannot be detonated while somebody is holding it. Trying to do so will result in nothing happening. But even if you are holding it, you still don't want to just keep it. I say this because the apples do slowly build up power the longer they remain out, getting bigger and bigger as time passes. And as you can probably guess, the bigger the apple, the larger and the stronger the resulting explosion will be. That said, there is such a thing as too much buildup, because the apple bombs will explode automatically on their own after about 30 seconds or so, even if it's in someone's hand. For Magolor's final smash, it could be a cinematic final smash that I'm going to call the Lore Jump. The smash starts with Magolor conjuring a small version of the Lore Star Cutter that charges straight forwards, being able to catch up to 2 foes at a time, and drives them into a large star portal, sending the caught foes to an alternate dimension. The cinematic then plays out with the lore speeding through space while foes are pinned to its front, colliding with asteroids and other objects that rack up damage. Then out of nowhere, Magolor in his final corrupted form appears ahead of the ship and fires a powerful laser, eviscerating the ship while blasting the foes back through the portal, sending them back to the stage and ending the cinematic. The foes are launched downwards through a new portal that's facing down, smashing into the center of the stage, so there's no way that this smash can launch foes into the blast zone. That said, it will automatically KO them if their damage goes over 100%. For Magolor's colors, his default shows him in his usual blue and yellow robes. His first alt can give him the white and green attire that we see him have in Team Kirby Clash, and this will act as a sort of alternate costume since the patterns of this robe are different than his usual one. The next 4 colors could all reference the various sphere doomers that we see in Return to Dreamland, starting with the normal doomer, then the fire doomer, then the wind doomer, and then the Ice Doomer, which could also serve as the monochrome colors. Then for the 7th alt, this could be an actual alternate costume having Magolor take on the first appearance of his wicked Master Crown form, though it would be much smaller to match his actual size. And this could have a single color, giving it the EX palette that we see in Return to Dreamland on the hard difficulty. His stage intro can have Magolor simply appear from a star portal, and from the inside of the portal as he comes out, you see the lore flying away, implying he just used it to drop him off from another dimension. For Taunts, his first can show Magolor juggling a few of his gem apples. This is a double reference, coming from the Mook juggling attack that we see during his second phase, but instead of Mooks, he's juggling apples. His second can have him just chuckling to himself like the sinister little cretin that he is. And his final can have him circling his arms as he concentrates with some magic, as if he's trying to focus his power. This is an amped up version of one of his idle animations from Star Allies. And finally, for his victory animations, his first can show him spinning out of a star portal, then salutes to the camera. This is an innovated version of his victory pose from Kirby Star Allies. His second can have him bouncing around in excitement, then calms down and starts fist bumping the air over and over. This references his animation from Return to Dreamland each time Kirby returned a piece of the lore, and his final can just show Magolor slowly floating down while clapping, congratulating himself on his win and his opponents on their loss. And that does it for What If Magolor Was in Smash? I really don't have too much to say about this one. He's about what you'd expect from another character from Kirby's universe. Simple design and a simple concept. Just keep his deceptive nature in mind, or soon all will be bowing to the wizard with interdimensional powers. Actually, quick tangent, you know how people keep pairing the character Dimentio from Super Paper Mario with Marks from Kirby Superstar just because they're both jesters? If you ask me, Dimentio and Magolor seem like a much more fitting pair of tricksters. I can only imagine what kind of horrors they'd be able to pull together. 2 interdimensional magicians scheming to become the overlords of every single world in the multiverse by using their near-identical powers to warp the very fabric of space itself? Now that's a scary thought. Anyways, if you enjoyed what you saw and would like to see even more characters be given possible Smash movesets, be sure to subscribe. And if you want to support the show and help me be able to make more content for you guys, you can click the join button either below the video or my main page to become a sponsor for my channel. Doing so will get you access to my private Discord as well as channel emotes. You can guarantee that your name appears in my videos, or even get the option of knowing what if character is coming up next a week in advance. I'd really appreciate anything that can be contributed. And of course, if you have a character that you want to see be given a possible Smash moveset, leave a comment down below or contact me on Twitter at BrawlFan1 on Twit. I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching!